Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker, and you are listening to Picks and Pours, episode 12. Today we'll be breaking down UFC 297. I am joined from all the way across town with a fresh new haircut, Matt the Mechanic. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, Bill, how's it going? Hey, you owe me $2.45.
I do?
Yeah.
For what?
The Benitez fight last week. I had Benitez picked, locked in, and you switched me to Ricky, and I would have won.
Would you have had a clean sweep if it?
No, I would have went 2 for 2. But I would have made 15 cents. So next time I see you, I'm hitting you up for that $2.45.
All right, you got it.
By my account, I'm up 15 cents for the year. We're going to take a running total, and then I'll cook dinner with my winnings at the end of at the last pay-per-view of the year.
Oh man, what are you gonna cook for 15 cents?
Well, we got, what do we got? 40 weeks of fights, maybe 45 if we do a lot.
So what if you're in a negative?
Well, then it means you're buying.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good deal, right?
Yeah, so I either get a 20-cent dinner or I pay for dinner.
Well, I mean, this could be an expensive dinner if I'm successful. Or it could be eating hot dogs.
Yeah, if you're in the negative, then we have to go like garbage picking for dinner.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't like where this is going. I'm already nervous about the new segment tonight, which is going to be, I don't know if you want to lead with it.
No.
Okay.
Let's get through the card.
Yeah, let's do the picks. All right, let me pull up the card here. So UFC 297, Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis. Before we start breaking down the fights and doing picks here, I need to take a moment and tell everybody that I was right. Because a couple of weeks ago, Strickland and du Plessis can't be within 10 feet of each other without getting into a brawl. So I came out and gave my opinion that this brawl was not real. Sean Strickland was not really hitting Dricus, even though he had the opportunity to. He was dropping some WWE forearms across his back. I got a lot of backlash over this. A lot of people telling me I'm crazy. They're unsubscribing. They're blocking me. All this nonsense from all these MMA marks out there who don't believe that anything could be staged in MMA because this is as real as it gets. And then what is it? The third episode of Embedded, we see Sean Strickland and Dricus approaching each other in a hotel lobby or something. They shake hands. Sean Strickland says hello to his wife, as cordial as can be. This does not look like two guys who can't be in the same room together. It looks like two guys who coordinated a fake fight at a UFC event to build hype for their fight.
I have an Exhibit C. If you want to, I'll play it real quick.
Yes, please.
Because Sean's style of striking has got a lot of plaudits, his Philly shell. Do you think you can beat him on the feet, or do you have to turn this into a full MMA fight?
Hey, hey. Everybody, calm down. This man's a fucking warrior. We're gonna fucking fight hard for you fucking guys. And applaud him and encourage him because we want a fucking war.
That was at the press conference earlier tonight.
Yeah, so it's like he's totally flipped the script, and now he's gone to like building Dricus up, which is bizarre. Because like a few weeks ago, he can't be within 10 feet of the guy, and now he's like kissing his ass.
Yeah, I think you're onto something. I see a lot of. We watch a lot of WWE. I think someone from the WWE has a hand in this matchup. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, the UFC and Bellator and every MMA promotion has taken pages out of the WWE marketing playbook since the beginning of the sport. You know, Dana White has come out and said explicitly that, you know, he has basically taken the blueprint of Vince McMahon and applied it to MMA. And it's a brilliant blueprint. I mean, Vince McMahon is one of the most successful businessmen in sports entertainment history. So I mean, the guy's like a billionaire, right?
And I really don't mind it. As long as the end product of the fight it delivers, then it's fine. If you don't like it, don't pay attention to it. Just watch the fight. If not,
Yeah.
get on social media and enjoy.
I just don't understand why people would get so upset about it, because I brought it up kind of casually, like, oh, well, this was a fake scuffle in the crowd. No big deal. I didn't really think anything of it, but then I posted the clip and people lost their minds. People get so fragile about it. I mean, I guess these same people aren't willing to admit that there were fights that were fixed in Pride, because that definitely happened. That's been documented. So we have it good. At least the fights are real. I don't give a shit what happens in the crowd. I don't care if it's staged or whatever they do. As long as the fights are still real.
Have you ever watched like the press conference live and watched the chat?
No, never.
I mean, the MMA community is just like to bitch about things.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way.
Everybody likes to bitch at things these days. I mean, we're gonna get ready to talk about UFC 297, and right before we go live, I always, just type UFC and go to the news, and the top story is from CBS, headline UFC 297, Sean Strickland's homophobic tirade, latest in UFC's ugly, uninhibited dive into culture wars.
Oh, okay.
So that Sean made it all the way to the big leagues on this one.
Wow. Mainstream fake news. So yeah, I didn't watch, I've hardly watched anything. I saw our friend, Serena De Jesus in one of the Embedded episodes, like in the beginning. They showed like a photo of the Extreme Couture gym, like after practice or something, and she was in there. So shout out to the Southpaw Outlaw.
All right, let's get into these fights.
Let's do it.
First is a featherweight fight. Arnold Almighty Allen, plus 155 against Mosfar Evlov, minus 210. Evlov averages 8 takedowns a fight, but he hasn't got a finish in 8 fights. It's all decisions.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some very good wins, most recently Diego Lopez, but that was a very short notice, and Dan Ige. I'm going to go with Mozart anyway, but I'm going to change the bet to win by decision, which is minus 125.
Is it okay? So you get better odds.
Yeah, it's minus 210. If I go by decision, it's minus 125.
Okay. I mean, it seems like, yeah, that's a pretty safe bet. Arnold Allen is a really good fighter. But Ivlev just smothers people. And yeah, the Diego Lopez fight was last minute for Lopez stepping up, but it was last minute for Ivlev too. He was preparing for a completely different opponent. Takes on this guy in Diego Lopez who turns out to be a total stud.
Yep.
And nobody had any idea. We just all thought he was a dude with an emo haircut coming out of left field. So credit to him for that win. Yeah, I can't really argue with this one.
Next up is Chris Curtis versus the guy named Power Bar. What's his name, Bill?
Marc-Andre Barrial.
Yeah, that guy. Chris had a rough 2023 canceled fight. Draw, lost to Gastelum. I know he made some changes by getting off social media. He lost some weight. And he's also been part of this championship camp with his buddy, Sean Strickland.
Yeah. Can't hurt.
But this other guy, he finishes fights. He's on his home turf, and he's plus 155 underdog. So I'm going to take him.
He's Canadian?
Yeah, look at his name.
Sounds French.
Yeah, isn't that a thing? Never been there.
Yeah, so there's what's weird about Canada is there's only one, what is it, Providence, that is, there's only one small section of it that speaks French. So in Quebec, which is the Providence, there's the city of Montreal where people speak French, but everybody speaks English too. And I've been there. I've been to Montreal a couple of times. Awesome city. Everybody's super nice, but everybody speaks English, even though a lot of them also speak French.
So what do you
Moving
think
on.
about that pick.
It depends. I mean, if Chris Curtis has really kind of buckled down and he's been in a championship camp with Strickland, like you said, who's the favorite here?
He is the favorite, but
Chris Curtis is.
I wanted to pick at least one underdog this fight. I mean, I don't even really like picking against Chris Curtis. He seems like a pretty cool guy. You ever see the video of Sean winning the belt, but it's his webcam sitting there watching it?
No.
Oh, it's cool stuff.
That's got to be awesome.
But I don't know. I got to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to win like $2 off him.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
like him, but
well, now I'm rooting for you now that dinner's riding on it on the end of the year. I don't want to
we
be.
could go anywhere from Oscar Mayer wieners to I don't know. We could load up the smoker.
Yeah, I don't think I want to be digging through the trash for dinner on New Year's Day or whatever.
Next up's the Haitian Sation, Neil Magny,
Mm-hmm.
plus 275 versus Mike Proper Malott,
Mm-hmm.
minus 375.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not the. I think I'm gonna switch my pick. I do have Malott, but you only make 125. I mean, it is Neil Magny. He's a vet.
He is. He's very experienced. Most welterweight wins, I believe. 36 years old.
But this Mike Malott, man, let's see here. Submission round one.
Yeah, Mike Malott's he's going to be a handful. He's young.
Home crowd.
Yeah, four wins in a row in the UFC. He's only got one loss, and that was to Hakeem Dawodu outside of the UFC back in 2014. On World Series of Fighting 14, U.S. versus Canada. So he's the Canadian here. Obviously, they're looking to build this guy up with this fight. They're kind of banking on Neil Magny's, nearing the end of his rope here. He just got beat up for 3 rounds by Ian Gary. They're kind of expecting the same thing to happen here with Mike Malott, so they can get him a higher profile fight after he whoops up on Magny in front of his home crowd. So, yeah, I know, like money-wise, it would be a smart bet to bet on Magny. Obviously, you never count that guy out. He's been in there with the best, and he's done well. He's had a great career. But, yeah, it's going to be a tough one for him.
Yeah, we'll leave it with Malott.
All right.
All right, now we're at the co-main event. Raquel Pennington, plus 135 versus
Myra Bueno Silva.
Bueno Silva, minus 175. I'm going to take Silva on this one.
Yeah, that's a smart pick. And before I get into why, I have to say I was at the Muay Thai gym today. I was doing a private, and I was talking to some guys there. Nobody even knew that there was a female title fight on this card. They knew Strickland was fighting. And these are Muay Thai guys. They're casual MMA fans. They watch the big fights. They like the good strikers. They're interested in Strickland. And I said, hey, there's also a female title fight for the vacant title. They're like, well, which title is vacant? And I told them the bantamweight title that Amanda Nunes vacated. And I was thinking about it. It was like a year ago. And they're just now putting a fight together for this title. Like, what went on here? I know Juliana Pena's hurt or something. But like Amanda Nunes retired, the featherweight division retired with her, and the bantamweight division essentially retired with her until now. Like a year later, we're going to decide to crown a new champion. This is a little strange to me.
we've approached one of our new segment. The topic I have for you.
Oh,
Do you want
Should
to
we
do it
just-
now, or just want to do the main, or just do the main event?
let's do it, because then before we talk about the main event, maybe I'll have an extra little drink in me here. So, all right, let me explain the new segment. So here's the idea we came up with. This segment is called Hot Take or Take a Shot. So Matt is going to give me some sort of MMA hot take. I have to either argue for it and agree with it somehow and like make a concerted effort to agree with it, or I have to take a shot. I've poured myself a shot of a whiskey I don't particularly care for. I do not want to drink this shot. I've got an entire bottle of good whiskey here that I would much rather sip on. I'm beyond the age of taking shots anyway. This is not something I enjoy. So it can't be like, oh, Bill's just going to give up because he wants to take this shot. I don't want to drink this whiskey. I don't like doing shots. So let's just put that out there. So Matt's going to give me a hot take that I have not heard until this moment. So what do you got for me?
Well, my hot take is that the UFC could put together an all women's pay-per-view
Oh,
of whatever fights they want.
uh-huh.
It would not sell better than the worst normal pay-per-view of the year.
Oh, well, yeah, I agree with that. I don't know if that's even really a hot take. Although, if I play devil's advocate, do I have to take a shot?
No, I thought if you couldn't beat it, if I was
But
right,
I agree. No, I have. Oh, so I have to disagree with your hot take?
you have to make an argument that I thought you would either have to take a shot that I'm right, or you have to make a call.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Well, you think about it.
here's the counter. Ronda Rousey comes back, and that nulls everything. That will sell better than the worst pay-per-view, the worst regular pay-per-view of the year, even if it's an all-female card.
Shit.
Now you should have to do a shot.
Okay, that didn't work like I wanted to.
Well, at least I don't have to drink this nasty shit.
Just wait. I got more.
All right. I guess I'm going to be taking this shot at some point.
Okay, let's move on to the main event.
All right, let's talk about the main event.
It's Sean Strickland versus Dricus. His nickname is Still Knox Duplessis.
Okay.
The odds have pretty much lined up. It's minus 115 Sean Strickland, minus 110 Duplessis. This is one hell of a fight. This is my fighter of the year. We're going to talk about him a little more tonight, but not for what's in the cage. But I think this fight is a good bet would be to Duplessis by TKO in 1 and 2. Or, but after that, I think it rapidly changes to Sean dominating the latter part of this fight. I can't pick against Sean. I'm going to take Sean.
Yeah, and given the criteria you provided, we've seen Strickland get knocked out before, but it was by Alex Pereira most recently. Dricus doesn't have that knockout power, and going 5 rounds is going to be an issue for him. We've seen him go 3 rounds completely exhausted in the 3rd round, but even though he's exhausted, winded, and I forget the explanation he gave, he's got like a deviated septum or something, so he has breathing issues.
Yeah, well, he got that fixed.
Oh, okay. But even here's the freaky thing about Duplessis that you can't teach. No amount of coaching can bring this about for a fighter. He can fight beyond the point of exhaustion, which is an attribute. Like if I'm building a fighter from scratch and I get to pick any attribute, I'm taking that. I'm taking the guy who can push past the point that their body is ready to give up. and they can continue fighting, because everything else you can teach. You can teach the punches, the kicks, the takedowns, the clinch, the submissions. All of this can be taught. You cannot teach someone to continue fighting when their body wants to give up. And Dricus du Plessis has that. However, Sean Strickland does too. And it takes a lot more for Sean Strickland to get to that point of exhaustion. So I think a 5-round fight definitely favors Sean Strickland. Now, Strickland is hot and cold, right? I mean, obviously, he put on a world-class performance against Israel Adesanya, but we've seen him in there look a little sloppy, like in the Alex Pereira fight. So which Sean Strickland are we going to get? Also, I want to say Dricus looks the leanest I've ever seen him. Usually seems to carry a lot more muscle. It looks like he's leaned out a lot for this fight, which tells me he's probably prioritized cardio in his camp. And he's preparing for that 5-round fight. Now, there really is no being prepared for that 5-round fight until you're in there. Like, you don't know how your body's going to react. Chael Sonnen always says people aren't meant to fight for 25 minutes. I tend to agree with him, unless that person is named Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is built to fight 25 minutes, and he's one of the few.
I think we should add in a prop bet here. I was just looking. Duplessis to win in round 1 is a plus 602. In round 2 is a...
I don't like that bet.
plus 800.
I don't mind that one as much.
Round 2 plus $800 make us...
If he's going to win in round 2, it's going to be
$9.
like a ground and pound TKO.
Yeah, like he wins.
Yeah, I'm saying that would be the way he would win. I don't see him submitting Sean Strickland. I don't see him knocking him out cold on the feet. So...
Okay, we'll skip it.
I mean, you can place the bet.
Nah, we got some steaks to buy. Although that would get me up. Yeah, let's add that. We'll do Duplessis.
Add it.
Round 2. All right.
Okay, so you got another hot take for me?
Well, I just want to talk. I have a couple clips, and I got a couple questions during these clips. But
Okay.
These are going to be some...
So it's not anything that involves me taking this shot then?
It could be.
Oh, boy.
Would you already take it?
No, I don't want... If I don't have to, then I'm going to go back downstairs after this and pour it back in the bottle. I don't want to drink that.
I don't think it's going to be take a shot. I'll do better next time, but I got some cool stuff.
All right, what do you got?
So first off, Dustin versus Max. We haven't talked about that yet.
Justin versus Max.
Yeah, Justin versus Max.
Yeah. I saw a funny video. Somebody said that Max Holloway's wanted to fight Justin Gaethje ever since this moment, and it was when Max Holloway was weighing in and he had to strip naked, and Justin Gaethje was holding the towel in front of him, and then he picked up the towel to move it over the scale, which exposed Max Holloway. So they said he's wanted to fight him ever since that moment.
Yeah. I mean, this is an awesome fight for UFC 300. It's the BMF belt thing that is just silly.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. And it's like Max Holloway is like one of the nicest dudes. Like when the BMF belt came out, it was Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal, who were like two street smart, like thuggish kind of guys. It kind of made sense to do that one time. And then it's like, then it was Gaethje and Poirier. It's like, all right, well, where are we really going with this? And now the belt is being defended. Like, what are we even doing here? This is stupid.
So my question for you, if you could just take the belt away from him, from Gaethje, and just give it to like a Hall of Fame award, what fighter would you give that belt to?
Like, who's the baddest motherfucker?
Like just who you think is the baddest motherfucker. And I'm not asking the question of who's the greatest of all time. I'm just talking like what you're saying, street sense,
And it could be
anyone.
That's interesting.
I had somebody in mind, but then something just popped back in my mind. I picked the guy that was the bank robber. What's that guy?
I was just thinking about that. Lee Murray.
Yeah, that's who I'd give it to.
Yeah, he was a bad motherfucker and supposedly beat the shit out of Tito Ortiz in a street fight.
All right. That guy.
Okay. I would say maybe like Don Fry would be a good pick. Like, that's a guy who I could picture just like fucking walking into a saloon and just beating the fuck out of everybody because he wanted to, and then ordering a whiskey at the bar. And he's like, I just wanted to beat the fuck out of some people. And then he just sits down and he drinks his whiskey, and then he beats the fuck out of the bartender instead of paying his tab. Yeah, I'd say Don Fry is like an all-time bad motherfucker.
He's still around. You see him at pay-per-views a lot, right?
Yeah,
I think he just had an altercation at one last year sometime.
Did he? Yeah, yes. I'm not surprised. Yeah, the guy's a maniac.
They should get rid of the BMF belt and just make a BMF wing in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, Don Fry would have my vote.
That's where you could stick people like Jim Miller. He's a bad motherfucker. The fighters that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame that maybe didn't get the championship. The Cowboy Cerrone's.
Yeah, but then it's like those guys, like Jim Miller and Cowboy. I see them as like nice guys, and for me, that doesn't. Like, where's the bad in bad motherfucker? Like, is it just because they're tough and they can fight, or are they like,
are
they like a little bit of loose cannons?
They get it more because of the longevity. I mean, longevity and street smarts. I don't know. Well, yeah, DC. He has some opinions about that, I guess.
I would put Mayhem Miller in there.
Yeah,
there's a wild motherfucker. He's had like shootouts with the police and shit.
War Machine.
Yeah. That's just like a bad dude. Didn't he like stab his porn star girlfriend?
Yeah, he worked her over, and I think
he stabbed, like put a knife through her hand and stuff. Yeah, I can't condone that stuff. We can't give him an award.
Yeah.
All
right, so let's talk Sean Strickland press conference. He had some things to say.
Sure.
So this press conference made me think your WWE thing was even more true, because they brought in this damn Canadian reporter that had no interest in asking any fight relevant questions. He only wanted to ask social stuff.
Okay.
Well, they brought in two Canadians. One was like a bearded guy that asked cool questions, and then they had this other guy, which they never showed him. I mean, I want to see what this guy looks like, but because I can bet we could imagine what he looks like.
Let's hear it.
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there.
He's talking about the reporter?
Yeah, the reporter that he asked him a question about, you know, you. He just brought up the trans Bud Light thing,
Okay.
and
So,
that's only halfway through his response. This is the clip that's all over social media, but it's being edited. It's being edited. I have the whole thing. It's a little longer. There's a little bit of dead air, but there's something that happens in here that happens throughout this entire press interview because there's someone either from the UFC or somewhere that's like Sean keeps asking him, "I'm good, right? Like I'm good." You'll hear it here.
These stupid fucking questions. Sorry, I told the UFC I was being nicer. Lance, am I still good with this? Did I cross any lines? A little. What the fuck? I didn't say the F word. You just brought this fucking guy in here to piss me off.
You just did, but just to follow up, I mean, Rick.
Did I say it?
You just did.
No, I didn't say it.
Right there, you did.
Different F word. Different word. Yeah.
No, they're not talking about fuck.
oh, okay. I got you.
I'm trying to be good, man. I'm trying to be good. I like the fucking gays. Here's the thing. I've never. You guys think I've ever shit on a gay man or shit on a gay woman? I don't fucking. I like the gays. It's fucking freedom. We still have it in America. We'll teach you about it. You guys don't have fucking freedom of speech. I'm surprised what I'm saying is probably gonna get fucking. I'm probably gonna get the fucking Canadian government to arrest me.
So
I don't give a fuck who you fuck. I don't give a fuck what you want to do in life. But don't fucking tell kids about it. Don't teach that shit in fucking school. Don't fucking push your agenda. Don't try to fucking brainwash people. Don't try to go past parents. Don't try to go up past all this shit and brainwash people, you fucking cuck.
So to follow up, Raquel was in here earlier. She did pick against you, but you don't have any issue sharing a card with Raquel Pennington?
No, I mean, I don't give a fuck, dude. I mean, here's the thing, guys.
So this interview, this guy like hits every social topic. He just keeps coming back at him with another thing. So now he asks him how he feels about fighting about a lesbian being his co-main event.
Yeah.
And this, I should have played this clip earlier, but
WNBA. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to be offensive when I say this. WNBA, NBA. Who watches what? Who makes more money? Women's MMA, sure, have women's MMA. Have it a fucking thing. I don't like to watch it. I don't think most people like to watch it. If the females MMA were to separate from a male MMA, no one's gonna watch this shit. No one wants to watch this shit. Just what it is, man. I don't fucking know what to tell you, dude. Fucking, it is what it is. Like, why is that a bad? Like, again, do you want to watch a fucking sports car race a fucking Honda Civic? No, you want to watch a fucking sports car. There is a vast difference between men and women. Like, you even take this weak little fucking Canadian sitting next to you. He could probably beat up fucking Raquel Pennington.
Oh, I don't know about that.
see how they just keep. I mean,
Yeah. So they're just, yeah, I get the idea. They're just, they're poking the bear. They're trying to get some viral clips out of them. This is shitty modern journalism 101. They know they have a guy with a sensitive trigger finger. And if they throw the right buzzwords out there, he's just going to fire off trans, gay, Bud Light, lesbian, whatever words you want to throw at him. He's going to have a canned response for it that he won't be able to help himself. He'll just blurt it out. Now, whether any of this is, none of this is really relevant. Maybe the Raquel Pennington thing. Does it bother you that, all right, she's on the same card? That's the only thing that's been like relevant. Otherwise, like, we could just keep this shit somewhere else, like hold a separate conference or, interview him on your podcast and ask him about all this shit. It has nothing to do with the fight. So I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I'll let Sean finish your point for you.
All right.
Martin did an interview with a bunch of your former training partners and current training partners and coaches this week, and all of them had kind of glowing reviews of just training with you. Like Sam Alvey saying you're one of his favorite training partners. Brad Tavares said, just spoke glowingly of you. So do you think you're kind of misunderstood in the eyes of fans because the people that you train with every day only have positive things to say about you?
Here's the thing, dude. This is like the fucking Trump style media. I've never been a fan that doesn't like me. Generally, I meet people and we have great interactions or we ask for photos, but it's like, you fucking cucks, you know? No offense, you guys. I'm sure not of you guys are. And I'm sure not a lot of you guys are fucking cucks. There's some cucks out there. But, you know, you go and like, you do these fucking headlines that, oh, Sean made fun of this, Sean made fun of that. Like, you guys are like, but that's how you get your views, you guys. You don't get your views reporting on good shit, you know? You guys are the fucking, as they would say, drain the swamp. Like, you guys, but that's how you get your clickbait. You just can't be like, hey, Sean had a good day. He met so-and-so. You got to be like, hey, Sean said something racist. He made fun of his co-main event. Like, that's how you guys get your views, man.
That was my favorite part of his whole thing.
He nails it. And this is proof that good news doesn't get clicks, because we don't get a lot of clicks on this show because we don't really get into the controversial stuff. I don't do any clickbait. All up until recently, all of my episode titles have been puns, which is terrible for SEO and like optimizing people finding the podcast, which made me switch that up against my better judgment. I put the names of the events in the episode titles, but yeah, I've always been like firmly against putting stuff out there just so people will watch. And what's weird is I've been accused of it. Like, even with the Sean Strickland thing, when I said the fight was fake, people said, I was just saying that for clout and I just want attention. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I said it casually because it was just something I thought. I don't really care. Like, I do this podcast to talk about MMA and whiskey because those are things that I love, not to get millions of people to watch it. I can't understand the mindset of someone who is strategically planning to get someone to say something inflammatory so that they can see success off of it. Like, that just doesn't compute for me. I'll never understand that.
I couldn't imagine getting the opportunity to go to and interview a UFC champion, and the questions I'm going to ask are that. Like, I would feel embarrassed.
Yeah, and these people should be embarrassed. And obviously, these are people who have never trained martial arts. They've never been punched in the face for anything they've said. They've never been smashed in a grappling round for 6 minutes. They haven't gone through anything these guys have gone through, which makes it probably easier for them to just throw these bullshit questions at them and try to get them to say some offensive things. It's
Which
pretty
Sean will
disgusting.
He'll definitely do.
Oh yeah. It's easy. I mean, like, even if Sean were to somehow come on this podcast, which I would love to interview Sean Strickland. So, Sean, if you ever want to come on, you're welcome on MMA on the Rocks anytime. Probably never going to happen. But even as cordial as I would be towards him, like, he would just say some inflammatory things on his own. You don't really have to provoke him.
Do it.
But if you provoke him, you're going to get it tenfold.
Yeah, and he might beat the shit out of you.
He's not beating the shit out of me. Maybe
he would definitely beat the shit out of me. Although he did throw his black belt in the trash. So
yeah,
he doesn't have that tool
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't understand all that. I think, I mean, that's like some.
I think you're onto something, and I think Sean has a WWE person in this.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got somebody in his ear. Like, listen, man, you can run with this. You're getting headlines.
He's kind of doing a Colby Covington 2.0, like a better version.
Well, I mean, define better. Does that mean like pissing off more people, or like? I mean, as far as
that way, or you look at it as getting more people behind him, because the casuals are behind Sean Strickland. I mean, this press conference, that Bud Light clip got brought up to me at least 5 or 6 times today by different people. I mean, everybody saw this. Everybody's talking about it. Even people that don't even like this broke into the algorithm of people that don't even watch UFC, and they see this clip of this fighter and they come to me, "Hey Matt, you like UFC? Who's this guy?"
Yeah. Well, people gravitate to honesty. And whether or not you agree with what Sean Strickland is saying, he's being honest. He's giving you what's on his mind. He's giving you what he really thinks. And a lot of fighters at this level, they have PR training and they're taught to speak a certain way. They're taught to say certain things. That's why you get all these cookie cutter responses in these fighter interviews. You know, they ask him a question and it's always the same thing. Like, oh, well, I've had a great training camp and I've never felt in better shape. I'm really sure I'm ready for this fight. And Sean Strickland is like, yeah, I'm going to beat the fuck out of this guy and fuck trans people. And
You should see how amped he had that press conference tonight. He had that place coming down.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, the guy, you know, he's built a character and he's obviously enjoyed the response he's getting and he feeds off of that. So he's going to continue to amplify that character as long as he's getting positive feedback. And like I said, people gravitate to this stuff. You know, it's the same thing. Like people are so, I don't want to get into politics, but people are so torn about Donald Trump, where half the people just love that the guy is so honest and he says what's on his mind and he says it straight. And the other half is disgusted by him because he says what's on his mind and he says it straight, and they are revolted by the things he's saying. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, when it comes to human nature, people gravitate towards honesty. And he's honest.
I
mean,
more short clip from that, the way he closed out that.
Close it
PG
out.
Day. Close it out.
Australia last time, Canada this time. Where
Where are
they
they
going to send you next? Where
Fuck,
do you
at
wanna
least
go?
maybe a country with fucking freedom of speech. I want to talk to this fucking guy.
So where? What's your
Fucking
like,
America,
outside of
Vegas,
America?
bro. Like anywhere in America. Fucking A. I mean, I like. Here's the thing about Canadians, guys. I love Canadians. I've never met a Canadian that I didn't like until today. You know, every time I meet a Canadian, they love guns. They love fucking freedom. They like women. And I keep thinking, how come all these Canadians I know, how is Canada so fucked up when all these Canadians I meet are awesome? And I meet this fucking guy. And I just think there might be a lot more of these guys I don't know about.
We'll see how the rest of your week goes. Thanks, Sean.
Wow, that guy really ruined his day.
Yeah, he was pissed because but the thing is, they kept going back to him. I don't know who runs that, but was the UFC keep saying, "Hey, yeah, keep going."
Yeah, send that guy back up there. He's going to get some good headlines. Yeah, I mean, the UFC will stir the pot, but they'll do it behind the scenes. And then after the fact, they'll say, oh, we didn't know he was going to say this stuff, but we give him a microphone. Whatever he says into it is on him.
Or we're going to sit them two rows apart. Oh, they got in a fight.
Yeah. Even though that was choreographed, but we won't get into that again.
Yeah. Hey, I only have one more news. PFL versus Bellator has their first card.
Yeah, I
Did you
saw
take a
that.
Look at that.
Yeah, I briefly looked at it. I liked some of those matchups.
I mean, I'll definitely tune into this. It's an afternoon card.
I think I saw Impa Kasanganay against Rory Eblin.
Johnny Eblin.
Yeah, Johnny Eblin. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's a fun fight.
You got to give it to them that they're kind of burning some fighters on there, burning some champs.
Unless there's a merger about to happen, which.
Well, didn't it already happen?
Yes and no, kind of.
The way I understood it, listening to.
I think this is the merger.
Yeah, this is the merger, and I think Bellator is basically going to piss off to Europe and Asia, and they'll just be cruising around there, finding new fighters for the PFL. So that leaves my last question of the night. Do you think this has any chance of success?
The Bellator versus PFL?
No. Do you think the Bellator PFL could create a organization that can have any success?
It depends who's involved. If Scott Coker is still involved, then yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if you give that guy some more resources and some more money to play with, he could probably make some good plays to make a run for it. It sounds like one championship is, they've been on the verge of bankruptcy for a while.
I don't think Scott Coker's involved.
Okay. So then probably not. I would say no. The PFL has had some good production, but they definitely lack in the leadership department from what I've seen from the outside. Now, if they brought in someone like Scott Coker, who, is a known promoter and could make some big moves with some resources behind him, then yeah. Or if they bring in somebody else.
Looks like a guy named Peter Murray is in charge.
I don't know that guy. Just sounds like some random jack off. I think this event will do well. I think the Bellator versus PFL, the champions versus champions. Let's be honest. Anybody who's watching Bellator was probably also watching the PFL. They probably have the same audience. So those people will be excited for these matchups. I don't think it's going to bring in anybody new. I don't think it's going to bring in too many UFC fans who weren't watching Bellator or PFL. But it will excite the existing fans for both, which is basically the same demographic of people who love MMA and have a lot of time on their hands.
It just kind of sucks because the best fighter they have isn't involved in this because he doesn't have a weight class in the other.
Who's that?
Patchy Mix.
There's no.
No.
Is he still under contract?
I'm not sure. I hope not.
That'd be nice.
The UFC.
Yeah, if the UFC picked him up, that would be interesting.
I don't think we talked about Kevin Holland versus MVP either.
We haven't. What do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, I just wish it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, before MVP got knocked out cold by Diego Lima and then got battered by Mike Perry in bare knuckle boxing.
We might have another Ben Askren on our hands.
But at that point, he wouldn't be coming in and fighting Kevin Holland. He would be coming in and probably fighting for a title right away.
Yeah. What is he 185?
170.
170. Wonder Boy would be cool.
Yeah, that's the fight everybody wants. Everybody wants MVP and Wonder Boy.
It would have been cool 5 years ago and now.
I think that one still holds up. That one would still be good.
Yeah.
The different they have, they both have that kind of point karate style with explosive power. But MVP is so fast. That would be the difference. It would be his speed. But that would be a really fun fight. All right. So just to be clear, next time you're going to give me a hot take and I have to argue against it. And if I can't convince you, then I have to take a shot?
Correct.
All right.
And now we'll have more than you. I saw that text after jiu-jitsu class tonight, and I was like, oh, I don't know what this means.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we should have discussed it further, but
it's
whatever.
right.
It's a work in progress. The fans will understand.
This whole Thursday thing's a work in progress. But.
Yeah. Well, now we're posting it on the audio as well, so it's not just available on YouTube. So you can get Picks and Pours on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podfucker or whatever, wherever you're getting Spotify, wherever you're getting your podcasts, you can hear this. And if you are a fan of the show, we do have merchandise through our friends at Team Reaper. Reaper1.co is the website. Promo code MMA Rocks 10 will save you 10% on your order. You can get an over the top, under the influence t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Treat yourself. Why don't you? New sponsor of the podcast will be unveiled next week. Probably not on the Sunday episode, so maybe on the Thursday episode next week. So stay tuned for that. And for anyone curious, I've been sipping on Clyde May's 5-year single barrel bourbon.
Hey, how was the Travelers?
I still haven't tasted it yet.
I don't believe you.
I haven't, because I want to do a review, and I like to do my whiskey videos when I have daylight, but I've had my daughter solo for the last week while I've had this bottle in my possession. So unless I drink during the day when I'm trying to be productive, I haven't really had an opportunity. So yeah,
It does look very nice in the sunlight.
thank you.
Every time I see one of those videos, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, they do better. Like, this lighting doesn't flatter me, I don't think. I do have a nice new light here that my wife gave me for Christmas. But yeah, the sunlight hits it just right, even on my pale ass skin.
All right, let's go, Sean Strickland.
Fair enough. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Nope.
All right. Well, enjoy UFC 297, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. Cheers, everybody. Goodbye.